Hey,
Halo, halo,
apa
halo,
kabar?
selamat
Halo,
malam.
selamat malam
Selamat
semua. Apa kabar?
salah,
Gimana?
bukan selamat malam
Ini
ini.
selamat subuh
Selamat
ya.
dini hari.
Selamat subuh.
Subuh sih belum juga. Selamat dini hari.
Kita,
Selamat malam dong.
Selamat
Kan ini
dini
tayangnya
hari.
iya,
malam. Selasa malam.
Iya.
Waktunya
Jadi malam ini malam ini spesial. Episode kali ini
malam lah.
spesial karena kita rekaman sama teman-teman yang berada di time zone yang berbeda. Jadi kita cari irisannya. Dapatlah jam 1 pagi. Satu pagi ya. Jadi
iya.
kita tengah malam
Dini
atau
hari.
pagi ini dini hari begadang ya karena tamunya spesial sekali dari luar gitu ya. Jadi kalau teman-teman ingat beberapa episode yang lalu kita udah bahas tentang CSS Wrapped ya kan, tentang bagaimana perkembangan CSS di 2024 sangat pesat dan ada ada rangkuman dari tim Chrome
Tim
yang namanya
DevRel
CSS Wrapped 2024 ya. Nah, nih bentar, nggak bisa di-post ya? Nggak bisa, kalau nggak live nggak bisa di-komen ya. Jadi
Iya.
cari aja lah ya, googling aja CSS Wrapped 2024, itu ada websitenya dan websitenya keren banget. Makanya kita penasaran, akhirnya malam hari ini kita akan mengundang dua orang dari sekian beberapa dari timnya
tim yang
Chrome
in charge membuat CSS
yang
Wrapped
membuat
tersebut.
CSS Wrapped. Jadi kita tanya kayak behind the scene-nya gimana proses pembuatannya, mungkin fitur-fitur favorit dan lain-lain ya. Jadi langsung aja
Kita undang
welcome
kita
to the
berbahasa
stage.
Inggris. Hello.
Adam and hello.
Hello. Give you the applause dong, Elisa.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this. Yeah.
Thank you for coming to our show.
Very happy to be here.
Okay. Maybe before we start with the topic, maybe you can start by introduce yourself. Maybe Adam first, please.
Sure. I'm busy right now with Gemini having it make a rap because we're going to be talking about CSS Wrapped.
Oh my god.
And I was like, we'll get a rap about Wrapped and just get all meta in here. Hey everybody, my name is Adam Argyle. I'm from Seattle in the States. I work on Chrome as DevRel with Bramus, and him and I both focus on CSS and UI. We're just obsessed with the web. We like building. We're like with you. We build all day, every day, and then we listen to you, and we take all that back through Chrome. We feed it into new features. We tell you about the new features, and we rinse and we repeat, and we love it. So anyway, that's me. My website's nerdy.dev.
Nerdy.dev. All right.
Yeah. Is it coincidence your name is like alphabetically in order, and Adam and then Bramus?
Yeah. And then
No one's name starts with G.
What about you?
Yeah,
Bramus?
so I'm Bramus. I'm from Belgium, and Adam, perfect intro there. We are Chrome DevRel working on CSS and Web UI. We work with the CSS Working Group to specify new features, and for that we of course need all of your feedback. So yeah, if you ever run into us or if you blog about something, like give us a ping, and then we can take that. Then we can take that to the working group, to our engineering, and hopefully we can come up with a nice new feature. And then when that feature lands, you might have seen some blog posts from us passed by or some demos where we demonstrate, and then hope to get everybody kickstarted with actually building stuff with it. So yeah. Oh, and I also have a website, just like Adam. Adam is nerdy.dev, and I am bram.us, but I'm not from US. I'm from Belgium.
Okay.
That's the perfect TLD for your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it dates
So-
back from the days where everybody had like domain hacks, where it was like if you had something clever with your domain and you could use the suffix or the TLD as part of it, and it turned out it worked for me.
So it's Bram
Nice.
Bram.us.
Bram.us, exactly.
Perfect. Nice.
Does Amsterdam have a TLD? Could I be add.am? You know, or would Amsterdam be 3x? You know, would it be anyway? It's very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we're big nerds. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Okay, yeah, you are both DevRel, right? Can you tell us about how what did you do every
What
day?
is your
Or
Day
day
to
to
day
day looks
work.
like? What is a
yeah,
DevRel? Because some of our audience probably doesn't know much about what is DevRel.
Go first, Bramus.
I see Adam is pointing at me.
yes,
Yeah,
please.
so as DevRel, we try to, on the one hand, like spread the word on new features, on new web features. So whenever something lands in Chrome, in this case, then we like try and make sure that we have a blog post that announces the feature, give you some demos, write an article, maybe update MDN to make sure that the info there is up to date. That's like one part of the job, but then the other part of the job is also listening to your feedback and then making sure that that feedback, so that feedback that real web developers have, that feedback then makes it back to engineering or the CSS Working Group, for example. So that way that we can make sure that instead of shipping the thing in a browser, that we are shipping the right thing, the thing that actually solves your problem. So like this, we were like this bridge builder between standards bodies, engineering, and web developers. And to do that as part of our day-to-day job, we often get to play with features first, like as it getting prototyped in Chrome. We get our hands dirty, we try and break it, we try and point out the flaws to make sure that we can ship you like this nice polished feature in the end that then is part of a web standard, of course, and then hopefully sooner or later it will be in all browsers so that you can use it. Yeah.
Sounds very complicated to me because you have a lot of stakeholders like engineering and then the audience, us. You take a lot of feedback and you take from the other and a lot of people to please.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a bit difficult, right? Sometimes we see like, okay, this is like a real pain point for developers. We need to get it prioritized. But then engineering is like, yeah, but we have all these other things that you're already working on. Like we can't just squeeze it in there somewhere. So yeah, we
It's
have to
like
try and
Jenga,
find.
you pull one, and you,
Yeah, so we have to try and find this balance where we can like try and influence the priorities, and sometimes with success, but sometimes we just have to wait as well. And we are just waiting on the bug until the email comes that somebody got assigned to it, and then we're like, yes, somebody's working on it. Great.
And it's when it's yes, it's only for one browser. You still need a yes for another two browsers.
Oh yeah, that's
Right?
also like if something becomes baseline.
That's why I said it's complicated.
or if something lands in other browsers, like Vue, we'll definitely be talking about Vue transitions today. If that landed in, and when that landed in Safari, like I tried out all my demos in Safari to make sure that the thing that we have is interoperable with the thing that Safari has. And sometimes it surfaces a bug in Chrome, but it could also be a bug in Safari. And then like we file the bug, make sure it's followed up,
and write the test for
way too
web
much now.
platform
Maybe
tests.
Maybe Adam can add some more details to everything.
Yes,
I mean, a little bit,
please.
but yeah, y'all can ask some questions. I have a quote I'm going to find because I just the other day was like, oh, this is a really good thing we do with DevRel. And it was like quippy and short. I'm going to find it while you ask Bramus more questions.
No. I let you now. Okay.
I think I heard web platform tests. I'm not sure while I was
yeah.
talking, or
WPT.
I heard that too, yeah.
WPT.
Yeah.
that-
When you were talking about the bugs, like in browser A it has this bug, but in browser B it has that bug, and you are also in charge of
Well, we
handling the tests.
don't typically do that. Like that's more for engineering. Like if Chrome lands something, then they'll also make some WPTs. They make sure that it's upstreamed. Then all the other
Oh.
browsers also get those WPTs, and then their implementation when they start doing it, like hopefully they also get all greens. So we don't necessarily are involved in like creating the WPTs. We are more involved like with the practical implementation, because the WPTs are great. Like they test some basic things, but if the test is flawed, like it tests the wrong thing, or something is not tested, then you can still have all greens, right? Like if you implement a feature and only have one test that says can you parse the property, you will have a score of 100% on all those tests, but it doesn't mean that the feature is actually usable. So that's where our
Yeah.
practical approach comes in. Like we actually build something, and then we find out most often I go, okay, we have this one feature, and we try and combine it with another feature, and then suddenly things get a bit weird. And yeah, that's the practical approach. So yeah, but we're very hands-on with everything.
Oke.
I see Adam and
Adam,
Olive.
are you ready? Are you ready?
You did an awesome job. No, that was really, really great. Covered so many things. It's like the last part there. It's like sometimes we do weird stuff, you know. So it's like, hey, we got this feature. It scrolls like this, and you're like, oh yeah, what happens when I scroll drive it and make it rotate? And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, well, that's why we're here. We're here to do weird stuff.
Yeah.
The quote that I was looking at though is like I was trying to think about what's our value. Like it's easy to tell you what we do. You know, hey, we listen to people and we make sure that those features get put into browsers in a good, healthy way, and then we go build with them to make sure that actually solve the problem. So it's like we can tell you what we do, but the value I was saying at a high level, like something I would tell my mom would be like, things should be conceptually easy. Like it should be easy to have an animation between 2 pages. Okay, conceptually that's easy, but in practice, is it easy? No, it was quite difficult until we listened enough, we tried enough, we found a way forward to solve this problem in a really elegant way. So what I'm pitching is that DevRel makes the conceptually easy concept a reality. And we do that by listening to people, trying out these things early on, saying where they're wrong, and yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So we make the easy concept actually easy for you, because otherwise it's just too easy to say things are easy. Just like how many times I've said easy right now.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
But I can relate to that.
Easy things, a reality. That's nice and catchy.
Yes. Thank you. I thought so.
I can relate to that story for both of your Adam and Bramus as well. Like, when we start this podcast, it's actually started when we were in Bali. We have this GDE and GDG summit in Bali in Southeast Asia. So me and Eka at the time just talking 2 years ago. We just talking about container query is now landed as a to Firefox and to Chrome at the time, 2 years ago. I remember that. So we talk about it during this when we meet face to face. Hey, yay! Container query is now landed and stable. We can use it. Yay! And then we realized we don't have a platform to talk about this kind of thing. That's why this podcast. That's why this podcast is like born. But come back to your point is like we read somewhere like from the web.dev and from the any Twitter or your blog post that now this container query has landed with all the example, and then now we can implement it on our day-to-day life, which is perfect. And I still remember that one of the talks that I gave still related to web performance, but when I say like you don't have to use for that scroll, you don't have to use for responsiveness, and you can use container query rather than use your fancy JavaScript to control your boxes and do hacky stuff. And now you can have your container query save a lot of time, save performance. So thank you. I can relate. So conceptually easy, and now the implementation could be so many things. And from my perspective, anything that is a new technology, new API release, I relate that how can I save or make the site more performant. That's always my basic stuff to go. When I see this CSS Wrapped, how can I make the site lighter? That's it.
Awesome. So you're looking for performance advantages in all the new features, like what can this do to make it easier on the browser when it's doing a loop? How can I make this easier on a browser when it first lays out the page? And there's a lot of thinking we do about the machine to make the machine happy, and we do a little less of that. Bramus does a good amount of machine making it happy. But I like to let the engineers do that, and then I'll just like do something weird. And if it didn't work out very well, I'm like, that's not my problem. I'm just trying to make something work here. But yeah, I try to make people happy, try to make PMs happy, try to make the machine happy.
That's a challenge, like between making the machines happy and making the all different groups of people happy. And I think the tricky part with CSS and UI, like you mentioned about conceptually easy things, like what's conceptually easy for humans is really different from what's easy for machine. Like for humans like on the surface level, we tend to think visually. So if we want to make things go here to here, we just slide it. That's easy. And sometimes it carries over to web or digital UI as well. And there's a perfect example about this, I think, like when I first learned CSS, like animating height to auto, I think easy peasy. Yeah, you can animate easily from whatever 2 rems to 10 rems. It animates perfectly. And then so you can animate from 2 rem to whatever the block height is, but it turns out not that easy, and it just recently shipped now in 2024. I think. Yeah, so that's
Animate to
a
hike auto.
yeah. So that's I think that's a perfect example of conceptually easy thing that is actually not easy.
Yeah, another example for it is the parent selector that we always wanted. Like, I want to select the parent element. I want to select the element that has the other thing contained inside of it. We've been struggling on that one for 20 years before browser engineers figured out a way like, okay, this is how we can
like people
build
keep requesting that, but the browser programmers say, well, it doesn't work like that. The program runs from top to bottom, all right? You can't.
But the cool thing is that the original request was, I want a parent selector, and the thing that we eventually got, the has selector, is way more than that. Because you can select siblings, you can go up, down, you can go in all directions in the DOM tree. So that's also cool where we often hear like a request, and then we think about it together with our team of engineers, together with the CSS Working Group, and then the solution that we come up with like solves your problem, but also solves way more than your original problem. Another example for it is, for example, variables. We all wanted variables in CSS. Yeah. But the answer to variables in CSS are not variables. No, they are custom properties.
The
way that we have variables in CSS is by having custom properties. And the cool thing is, because they are properties, they inherit. You can change them as they inherit onto siblings and combine it with all the selectors that we have. You can say, well, if this thing has 5 children, then the dash gap is going to be 2 rems instead of 1 rem or whatever. And it's so cool. The simple problem, but then we have the solution, which took a lot of time, but the solution like opens the gates to all kinds of craziness that you can do with it.
Yeah. Now CSS have functions, right?
Yeah, it's something that's currently being prototyped.
And container queries gave away to scroll state queries and gave away to style queries. And so people just wanted to query the container. They're like, how hard could it be? I want to query. And then we were like, let's give you that plus a whole bunch of other good and like Miriam Suzanne likes to say, containers, they know stuff. And now we can ask them what they know. Yeah.
Okay. Now maybe let's talk about CSS Wrapped. Maybe Adam, you want to do a rap about CSS Wrapped?
I mean, what was it said? Yo, the web's evolving. Ain't no time to snooze. CSS Wrapped 2024, dropping major news. Components stacked high, precision in the game. Field size and flexing, putting pixels to the shame. Hideout of flowing, no more rigid lines. Exclusive layers building, intricate designs. Style highlights, making text pop and gleam. Anchor positioning, living the developer's dream. Thank you. Sound bit somewhere. Here's the link. Yeah, I opened up the link. We're talking about performance things. There's some like really cool performance things we had to overcome in this page. There's even some that we couldn't fix. And then one of the things that I think is was really highly desirable by people is a scroll spy. So that's like as you scroll down the page and the dinosaurs following along on the map on the right, and it auto expands the details.
Scroll
we see
trigger,
animations that are very
dino.
stateful. Yeah, normally this would have taken us a whole bunch of
Oh.
JavaScript, and that one's all CSS.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we didn't realize that
Hey,
feature.
look, your Chrome Dino's
Oh,
not-
I know the dino, but I don't know that it is just CSS.
I think there was
Oh my
one
God.
change we had to do so that because we wanted to trigger the open and close of the summary details, and we had to use
Accordion,
JavaScript to do that.
Why it's not
But yeah.
moving?
Yeah, why is your Chrome Dino not moving?
I don't know.
What browser is this?
Weird.
What browser is this?
Yeah,
Chrome
maybe
Canary.
prefer reduced motion enabled, maybe? No, that would have stopped some of the other ones. I don't know. He's skateboarding in my copy.
Updating right now.
Oh, and you're even in Canary, and it's like having issues.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm in Canary. Wow.
Hey, what regressed?
That's a new bug. We found a new bug.
Hey, he's skateboarding in mine.
It's also skateboarding in mine.
You can share your
Wait,
can you share your
let me check what the Chrome is doing. Oh, yeah, it's skateboarding in mine. So it's
What?
Canary that's not working.
It's working in Canary for me.
Same over here. Weird. Browsers fun, right?
Yeah, so that it's rotated and then translated. It looks like the scroll-driven animation's just not kicking in on it at all.
yeah. What
But the little
happened?
Maybe-
snake lines, I don't know.
Do you have like battery save or like power mode save?
Oh,
on?
yeah, something that's like
maybe,
reducing it there.
maybe.
This,
Let
this
me-
is
because
the
your
perfect case
battery-
of random weird
No?
stuff that you talked about earlier, Adam.
Please, someone
Coming
share
close.
your
I
screen.
can.
I wanna
can.
see. I wanna see.
But the cool
I
thing
can
about
share.
the dino breaking is that like it was a little extra effect that we added using scroll-driven animations, but it wasn't
Yeah,
necessary
so
to.
the
to
dino
visit
at the
the
top
website.
was supposed to be skateboarding across the viewport as well,
Oh.
not just in the table of content. Scroll to top.
Scroll to top.
Uh-huh.
This one.
Yeah,
There's another
yeah,
dino
yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see
do
yeah,
the particles
in the
scroll for
middle.
you? At the very
it's
top?
supposed to
Yeah.
go from left to right.
Very top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
Does it
no,
move as you
dino.
scroll?
Doesn't
Let me
move.
share screen.
Oh, I
Lisa.
think you have reduced animation enabled.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Which is pretty cool, right? Because it's a feature. People that say that, hey, we're not fine with all these
Yeah.
things flying around.
Yeah.
In CSS, we can respond to that. It's a
Yep.
media query.
Okay.
Yeah, got to build for the people too. Got to what do the people need? What's the machine need? What do I need? It doesn't matter.
Okay, let's talk about the CSS Wrapped itself. What's your motivation to do this every year? What's the goal?
Well, we a lot of times different people have different moments at which they can go research and ramp up on all the latest stuff. So a lot of people aren't watching all the features as they come out. So we might announce it. And we know our job isn't done as DevRel. If we just say, hey, there's new features in Chrome 135, go check it out. We know that our job is totally not done. We need to go give talks. We need to follow up with developers as they use it, find bugs, and then continue. We call it like ringing the gong, or continue to share something with people. Because you never know what moment during the year someone's going to have time to go look this stuff up. So CSS Wrapped is, we're assuming people are on vacation, they're kind of chilling at home. Maybe they would like a digest, something that summarizes the year's CSS growth into one place to go experience it. And so we roll that up into this yearly thing, which is good because all the demos, all the learnings, we can kind of repackage it up. And it's fun and cute. Last year's was like a book. This year's was much more like an article. Oh, wait, no, 2 years ago was a book. Last year was a blog post, and this year was like an interactive long scrolly telling. Yeah, we did scrolly telling this year.
Yeah.
This is
Let's see.
2023, and this is like
Yeah.
2024. So this is what you miss.
Ah.
See, it's skateboarding, and then
Yeah.
And it
Okay.
turns
there
around.
is another one
Scrolling
here,
up and down, up
another
and down.
one here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
as we
it's
go, it goes
skateboarding.
down. So
Very
And-
nice.
this year's theme is like 80s pixel game, retro game, right?
Kind of. It was supposed to be like each section was like a different biome. Like you can see one's like Arctic, another one is like a desert. And we had a designer we were working with, and yeah, it's like as we evolved, as we continued building. So like I built a prototype, and then the designer designed, and then they did stuff, and I did stuff, and Bramus did stuff, and as we just kept going, we let it be very organic. The concept of it ending up being so retro and 8-bit is kind of an accident. It's also because I like retro stuff, so it was easy to be like, let's make it nerdy. So yeah, that was the motivation there. Yeah, and there was a bunch of stuff we didn't put on there because we didn't want to put on.
Do you use intersection observer for this, like to detect this section and to mark the
that's a scroll-driven animation. So the section there on the left can announce its view timeline. It can name it and be like, I'm the scroll-driven animations view timeline. And that really just takes its whole div and kind of its intersection with the scroll port becomes a timeline that other things can say, I want my animations to be powered by that scroll-driven animation timeline over there. And that makes the little snake grow for that item because it's observing the scroll position of the other document content as it goes through the page.
Including this active line, like this?
Yeah, that active line is all CSS. Yep, the only JavaScript in that is to open the accordion in the right moment. So if you scroll up past scroll, it'll automatically open the one that you're inside of, and that's the only JS.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's a really popular component is a scroll spy. They're also going to be made easier with carousel. So we have CSS carousel coming out in Chrome 135, and we'll be able to link up a little side element with the actual content really easily through there as well. So we'll have multiple options for these really cool, interactive, connected experiences.
So why Dino? Is it Dino, right? Is it the Dino, and why you choose the story of forest, mountain, and the sea this time? Because this is so different concept from
last year,
2023.
2023, yeah.
This is all about color and typography, if I remember. Like
as you can see, last year we had this grouping.
Typography
we
and
had
color.
architectural foundations, typography, color, and so on and so on. And then this year we also tried to group them, and we quickly landed on this idea where we have like different worlds to explore, different scenes to explore. And like we did a big detour because then suddenly we were inspired by a racing game, I think, where we wanted like to have this 80s retro vibe.
Yeah, Rad Racer.
Yeah.
Or like the classic Mario Bros on Nintendo, the one underground and
like a world.
the one under
Mario
the
Kart.
sea, and one not Mario Kart, the older one, like stage 1 is on land.
Is it Mario, the original Mario Bros?
Yeah, underground inside the pipe, and then the third is under the sea. Like there are different worlds.
Yeah, and so eventually I think we quickly settled on the pixel style art, like to create different types of worlds. We wanted like to have a car race, I think, but that turned out to be too difficult, right? Because when you're brainstorming, you go like, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do that, we want to do that. And then we toned it down again. And of course, we had to drag in the Chrome Dino because it is pixelated, right? So yeah, we could not have it. So there we have it.
Is there any Easter egg here that we don't know? Did you plan any Easter egg?
Well,
we planned one.
We didn't plan one, but I think the most fun one is you can make the dinosaur kind of dance. If you just scroll up and down, back and forth, he'll sit there and dance. Just like ooh, 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 ooh. So you can make him shake his butt. You can also do so I don't know if that's the Easter egg. There's plenty of there's another Easter egg when you go to the mobile view. The menu icon is a hamburger. That's kind of like it's like, it's a hamburger menu. We made an actual
we noticed that. It's not a real hamburger.
In our past episode.
Which I saw Leah Veru's site yesterday has a hamburger on it. And I was like, I wonder if Leah was inspired by our hamburger to turn hers into a hamburger.
Well, now about about time some restaurant make a hamburger that actually looks like hamburger menu.
Let's see if I can find our prototype too. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the 2024 Wrapped prototype. So I was prototyping in CodePen while the designer was going. But yeah, like Bramus was saying, one of the original ideas was like you're going on a road trip. And so your first part of your trip might be through the desert area and you've got these stops to make. And so you would stop along the way at these sites to see in the desert area. And then you would move on to the next area. So we were trying to create this feeling of traveling across all of these territories or all these biomes. And you'll see in this one, oh, here, look, you still don't have scrolls. You probably have, prefers reduced animation on. There's a bunch of scroll-driven animations you're not seeing there.
Okay, let me.
But yeah, you'll see a different variant of the dinosaur going too, where it's much longer. Like he goes across the whole page, as opposed to right now he kind of goes through sections and stops. Anyway, it was fun.
Okay. Oh,
What
this
he
is
might not.
the prototype.
Oh, see, yeah, and then there's the car.
Supposed to be moving.
This is the car. Yeah.
Yeah, so he should be
Oh.
twisted and driving along the thing, but it looks like
I see.
yeah.
Animate. I don't know where to change that settings. Anyway,
Yeah, no
how
worries.
you decide what CSS feature do you want to do
Include.
in CSS Wrapped, or every new CSS feature you categorize in that like this, like for component and for interaction, developer experience.
Yeah, we had to limit ourselves, right? Because if we wanted, we could have like doubled the amount of content, which would also would have meant that we had extra work to do, and time is
of course.
always tight, right? So yeah. I think if in the end we went to having the cutoff point, like okay, we shipped this in Chrome this year. That was a cutoff point,
Okay.
and we made some exceptions for some features that were baseline this year. They were like, okay, this feature is now available in all browsers, and I think it's definitely worth mentioning, so we're gonna include it. I think the one exception on that is scroll-driven animations that we covered on the website, because we had it in Chrome in 2023, but we did feature in 2024 on our CSS Wrapped. But that's because I published a video course with 10 episodes where you can like learn all about scroller animations, and we thought it was worth to like put some extra attention to that by including it on CSS Wrapped. But yeah, we did have to make a cut somewhere because there's so much cool stuff
There's so much
going
stuff,
on in
yeah.
CS land.
Yeah, it's like a theme, right? Last year in 2023, CSS Wrap in 2023, there is like color, typography, and now it's
Motion.
it's
like
It's more the
motion,
I feel like
component, interaction,
component. But
component.
the highlight is scroll different animation for me. I like
Yeah.
the scroll different animation.
View
That's the most.
transitions. It's so
I know. It's
cool.
like view transitions are pretty cool too. Don't go
Scroll
all in
snap-
on.
scroll snapping
Oh
hands.
yeah, for your transition. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Okay.
interactions thing related to scrolling, and so it's really cool what you can do. And like a common type of feedback that we get from people, like especially when talking about scroll-driven animations, it's like, yeah, but I have this JavaScript library that I can use. Like, why should I even bother with CSS
That's the thing.
scroll-driven animations or the new feature in JavaScript? It's like, well, yeah, now you have a built-in thing in the browser, and it's like its true power is gained by the
free.
fact that scroll-driven animations are powered by regular CSS animations or the Web Animations API, and that technology already knows when to hardware accelerate a certain property. Like if you do an opacity animation, a translate, a scale, whatever, that all runs on the compositor. So with scroll-driven animations being built into the web platform, you can have hardware accelerated animations driven by scroll that run off the main thread, and it's like so cool because then your main thread can do all other stuff because your main thread can only do one thing at a time, right? So yeah, it's really exciting that one you have like this visual thing that you were already able to build, but now you can have it in a very performant way. Yeah,
That's why
Really nice.
with this, like bunch of like in the future, like upcoming after this is become a baseline. So let's go different ammunition as a like baseline. Perhaps next year. That means I can ask my team, let's get it out all this JavaScript that you don't need to just make this animation anymore. Get it out.
Why,
Get it out.
why wait till baseline? I mean, if it's, I guess it just depends. Like some teams are like the scroll animation is required, and you're like, what about users with prefers reduced motion? Are you going to make them get scroll? No, we won't force scroll on them. Okay, what about users with JavaScript disabled? How are you going to give them scroll animation? Oh, they don't get scroll animation either. So then how come it's so weird for me to say that like scroll animation is nice to have? You just told me two different groups of people that you think it's okay not to have. Why not a normal person? And then we can get rid of the whole huge library, and over time it won't be an issue. And users without JavaScript enabled start to get scroll animations. So that's huge. Anyway.
Ooh.
And I think there's a
This is a
polyfill, right, for scroll-driven animation. So I'll just dynamically load the polyfill if it's really necessary.
There is a polyfill, but it comes like with a few asterisks. Like
Oh,
it doesn't support all of the syntax, and you need to put your CSS in a specific location, because only then the polyfill can like find your code. But the biggest asterisk with it is that yes, you are not having the benefits of the composite animations in that case, because all the JavaScript that is required to polyfill it runs on the main thread, so back to your main thread animations. And that is a trade-off that you have to make as a team, right? Like, are we okay with not shipping the animations at all to browsers with no support or users that want it? Or are we okay with actually then loading up the polyfill in those older browsers, which then will result in a perf hit? So it's like, yeah, it's a trade-off that you have to
yeah,
make.
sure. Like everything
But
is a
if you want,
trade-off. But
like I can assume that some people really want the animations to work on all browsers. And yeah, you can opt into having the polyfill, but do note that it comes with a cost.
well, if you use external JavaScript library, it's gonna run on the main thread anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's also one of the things that you need. Like there's always like yes but, and then there's another yes but in response, and another yes but, and it's like
The golden answer, it depends.
That's the only
It
honest
depends.
answer on the web. It depends. Yeah.
It depends. Yeah. Okay. Is there any success story or impact from CSS Wrapped
CSS
website
Wrapped.
that you receive, maybe like testimonial or something?
I mean, there's a lot of appreciation. I think a lot of people didn't know certain things could happen. And it's nice. This is why listicles, like the popular 5 things that are new this month in CSS, whatever.
Number 3 can
always do
blow
well
your
this.
mind.
Number 3 is going to blow your mind. Number 5 is really ugly and gross. Don't smell number 5, And everyone's like, what? I have to smell this now. And you're like, I just told you not to smell it, you weirdo. Okay. But people like these because it can be hard to hear about these one by one. But if you get to see them in a digest and see them all summarized demos with the browser support right there on there, that can be really nice for people, especially as we kick out to deeper learning. So I think we got compliments that way. The side nav, being a scroll observer, a scroll spy, and being mostly CSS driven has been very inspiring for a lot of people, because that's a very common component to put on a blog, for example, right? You're like, I wrote a blog post and now I have a table of contents and I'd like that to be linked up with the content. You're like, here comes a JavaScript library. And not necessarily. There's some features which really surprised people too. Like they had no idea, like field sizing, like one of the first ones on there.
Oh yeah.
People are like, I have a whole JavaScript library that does this, so that when I type into text inputs, it grows. And I'm like, cool, get rid of it. Here's one line of CSS that does it now.
Yeah, we didn't know about it actually. So we had an episode about CSS Wrapped, and we try it live on air. Like we were like, wee. We just typed and hit enter, hit line break multiple times.
What I really
was
like,
all the rage during the early material design, I think. But we used to have to use JavaScript.
What I
Not
really like
anymore
about
now.
this feature is that like it's not one of those big fancy features where it's like view transitions, scroll driven animations, but it's like this
Mhm.
one little thing that got added to the web platform,
It's super
but it has a huge
super
impact because
helpful.
you can
Yeah.
throw away thousands of lines of code that did it, or
Mhm.
500 lines of code or whatever. Like, embrace the platform, use the declaration, boom, you have it. Same response I always get also with smooth scrolling, where you set the scroll behavior
Yes.
smooth, and then you click a
Yeah.
link in the page and it scrolls down. And if you mention that at a mainly JavaScript focused audience, they all go like, "What? What just happened?
Wow.
One line of code?" It's
Mind
like, yeah,
blown.
one line of code.
Okay, very nice.
Have you
Yeah.
remember that the days like in 2000, perhaps 2015, 2014, where the web is like love to use sliders, like they call it slider revolution, where these animations that that make the sliders so fancy and text flying in, and that's very
Marky?
very
Not
heavy.
Marky.
No, this is what we call like in WordPress, what it's called a plugin called Slider Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
where the slider can just like 3D animation
It's got
falling
WebGL,
web the
all sorts of textures and layers animating. Yeah.
yeah, and it's so heavy, but people love it at the time, and
Parallax
nowadays, like,
effects, no?
yes,
It's called
something like
parallax effect.
parallax effects also after that time. But yeah, those are very 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 heavy JavaScript, and just to load that, if I see a website that still use it, it's just load the site, like only for the JavaScript to load that requires at least 1.5 1.6 megabyte, the JavaScript file only,
25
not to
word.
mention the image itself. So yeah, like I'm right now like preaching to get rid of all those JavaScript, just move to what the platform gave you, and yeah, CSS
Use
is
the
Yeah,
working.
I just
platform.
shared the link in our chat here. Maybe you can present it on screen. But like the
Uh,
parallax effect that you mentioned, this is possible with
Yes.
scroll-driven
oh,
animations, where you say like, okay,
oh,
if this thing is
okay.
entering this one, you have to scroll horizontally. But if you look like the
Okay.
images move a bit inside, so
Yeah.
if you scroll it slow, you
Yep,
can see
yep,
that the images
Oh.
have this
yep.
parallaxy effect.
Ooh.
And
And
if you hit the little
CSS.
yeah, it's CSS, if you hit the little eye icon there at the bottom right, you can see the code that was used for it, and it says the images, yeah, blah blah blah, and then some
That's it?
keyframe like that.
There's
That's
an
it.
animation.
That's all you
That's
need
it?
for a parallax effect.
Oh, wow.
It's cool, right?
So
Very cool. Wow.
And that's one of the things that I really love about the web is that if you look at it like for over a longer period, like the web platform always catches up. We always had these things that were first built in userland. Like we used to have Flash to play video or to do animations on the
Yeah.
web.
Mm.
Now we have
Yeah.
the video
Yeah.
element, we have streaming video, we have CSS animations, we have web animations, we have transitions. Like all the stuff catches up. I'm drawing a blank here. Adam, help me out. What are some other examples?
Oh, were things catching up? I mean,
Stuff from jQuery. That was what I was going to say. Like all the whole selector engine that jQuery of like first landed. Well, we have that now in JavaScript. Document of
yeah,
query
SAS,
selector
SAS
all.
features,
Yeah.
they're in the native
SAS
language now.
features, yeah. Mm.
Functions, mixins, variables. Like yeah, the platform always catches up, and admittedly sometimes it takes a bit of time because we have to think hard about it. But in the end, we're
Yeah,
getting
custom
Last
there.
year,
select is at
it's
6 years or something like that.
Mm.
yeah, right now it's like pop over, like the model pop over, and also more web component landed as well, like
And it's still getting
accordion.
improved. Like we have
Yeah.
popover now, but now
Yeah, pop over
um,
dialogue, anchor positioning.
yeah, you combine
Modal.
anchor positioning, and then now we have popover hint that landed recently, where you can have like a tooltippy behavior where one popover doesn't close the other one, And then we're gonna have interest invokers, something that's coming in the future, where you can
more
trigger the
declarative.
popover by just hovering the link or the button. It's like it's coming to a full circle there. It's like cool. You have all these little things, and then together they form like this really exciting thing.
And native CSS nested, you need to mention it. Native CSS is huge.
Yeah,
We
I'm
have
really
Adam to
enjoying that
thank
one.
for that one a lot. Like he was one of the driving forces behind that one.
I was like, I just kept poking.
Thank
tab.
you
I was
for
like,
that.
Yeah,
That's
you're welcome.
really huge improvement.
I think so too, and we're still making it better. So Bramus has made posts, just in the past few months. I think one of them is in CSS Wrapped, actually.
One of them is in
Right,
CSS
developer
Wrapped.
Yeah,
experience.
it's CSS on nested declarations.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
That's the one there. Yep.
And we have more improvements coming too, where you can put an @starting style inside of a pseudo element. So you can have like -- before or : before, and you could do a @starting style inside of there. We're
No
making a
more
super
manually
line.
adding and removing class name, CSS class name, because we already have starting style, right?
Yeah, that one's really helpful for a use case like that. Yep. So yeah, we're still making it better, and there's even more improvements coming. I was just talking with folks yesterday who were like, I ran into a bug with nesting, and we're like, yes, that is it won't be a bug eventually. So we're kind of as we find more and more, it's more like we started simple, and now we're teaching nesting how to get more complex and handle all of the edge cases, and it's cool. It's fun work.
Okay.
Pretty cool. So much stuff. What is your favorite from 2024? Your most favorite?
Just one.
And
You
have to
just
choose
one.
one.
Just pick one. Just
Like,
pick one.
which one is your
Maybe,
favorite child?
maybe we should guess. I think Adam is going for the scroll snap events.
I would like to
Cool
say that one
snap.
because of how involved I was with it and how many use cases I have for it. But if I'm being honest about the one that I use the most, that just continues to creep into all my little prototypes, it's scroll-driven animations. And I would have thought it was view transitions, which I love those a ton. But I genuinely think scroll-driven animations is freakishly capable and unlocks so many use cases like we don't even know about. Like we've already seen new hacks that come out where you can watch the thumbnail go across an input type range and use that with a scroll driven animation to power something else. We are still barely scratching the surface of what scroll driven animations can do.
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Like Kizu has some very nice hacks with it, where he managed to create text that automatically sizes to the available width of the containers. If you shrink the container, the text automatically like shrinks its font size, and it's powered by scroll-driven animations. Like, what?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very clever hack. Like every time I look at it, I'm like, huh, what? How does it work? And then like, it's so clever.
Yep. So Bramus, what's yours? Mine's scroll-driven animation.
Well, if
So
you
you're just gonna-
pick that one, then I'm gonna pick the other one, which is view transitions.
Yeah, you have to guess each other's favorite.
Yeah, I think view transitions is a really exciting one because like, people have always wanted to do more of things, and the way I used to do it before is that you cloned the element and then you animated it. Accessibility wise, and you had like 2 copies of the thing in your DOM, which is like weird, and like it relied on all sorts of hacks, and now we have it built in, and it's like already this point where it's like, okay, cool, I can do some things with it, but I think the real power that we're going to see with it is going to come this year, where we are going to experiment. Well, our engineering team is experimenting with it right now, and we're going to unlock scoped transitions, where instead of doing document.start view transition to like start the view transition for the whole document, you can select a certain element and then say element.start view transition, and the view transition will only run on that specific little DOM subtree, which is pretty cool because then you can ship like something like a chat component widget, whatever, with view transitions without interfering with all the rest of the page.
Yeah,
So that's
or
going
like
to be cool.
client-side router. So it's going to behave just like client-side router. You know, you have the shell intact and just replace the content or
Content.
whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of, by the way, client-side router, people always want to use React. The React team, they have an active PR in the works where they are experimenting with view transitions, and we are supporting them in their effort, which is also pretty cool. And then also the thing that landed in Chrome last year, and is also available in Safari as of 17.2, if I'm not mistaken, are cross-document navigations, where you can have a view transition between two pages by simply clicking a link or submitting a form from the one page to the other. And it uses the same building blocks and the same type of logic as same document view transitions. The only difference is the trigger. In the same document version, you call document.start view transition, but in the cross-document version,
level one.
you just click the link. And it's like, oh, the web has been
That's
really
level
great at
two,
that
right?
for the past 30 years. So it's like, embrace the platform. Yeah.
Embrace
That's
the
true.
platform.
Embrace the platform.
Cross-document
Yeah.
view transitions.
We have this cross-document vision. It's just like now Firefox is left out at the moment. I hope
They
they're
just
catching up.
the regular page navigations, yep. But newer browsers will animate.
Yeah, at worst, you get the status quo experience, which is you click the link and then the new page loads
Yeah,
and
like
it
normal
swaps
link.
out. And if
Yeah.
your browser speaks view transitions, well, then you get like the nice moving thing. And of course, you can then wrap it again and add first reduced motion media queries to respect that and all sorts of stuff. So it's really cool that this is powered by CSS under the hood.
Yeah, you can go to my website, nerdy.dev. I've got scroll-driven animations, view transitions, dialogue elements. I mix and match a whole bunch of this stuff in there. And so you can visit my site from Firefox and see what happens. But if you click that card, you'll get a view transition there that'll make the card morph into the next page using cross-document view transitions. So no JavaScript involved there. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see I'm using scroll-driven animations to bring in people's comments.
Ooh.
If you go down to the very bottom, there's even... So anyway, I think about a lot of these things like, what's my site? My site has posts and like some content on it. But I can enhance that from just a basic document with all these different things I can do. And I like thinking about it in those layers. I like thinking about helping people in those layers too. I'm like, here's the base experience. If people are cool with animations, I add the animation. So I always do it very additive. Some people are like, I remove animations if you don't like animations. And I'm like, no, I don't do that. I add them only if you're cool with them. And it's fun. It's fun to have my own site to do. So, but yeah, those animations there, so you navigate between stuff, is all CSS, no JavaScript.
Ooh. Wow. Very nice. I cannot make
but yeah, you keep mentioning baseline, and I'm like, baseline is cool. Like, if that's how your team is working and you all are agreeing that way, but it's also not difficult and very acceptable to upgrade it for the browser that can do it. So just like use my site as an example if you want to, where you can even browse it with JavaScript disabled and you still get the animations and stuff, right? So it's like, not only are you minimally giving these experiences and conditionally applying them, you're actually bringing in more people to the experience too by removing the JavaScript. And just kind of so many things to think about, right? Yeah.
I think one of the points where people possibly misinterpret baseline is when a feature is not baseline. That does not mean that you can't use it. When a feature is not baseline, it means you should look at the feature itself and then make an educated guess on whether you want to use it or not. Things like text wrap, balance, and whatever. It's not baseline, or maybe it is baseline newly available, but you can use it. At the worst case, the declaration won't be parsed and it won't have a visual effect, but at best case, if the browser supports it, great, they'll get the nicer version. So yeah, if something is not baseline, you have options. You can polyfill it, you can treat it as a progressive enhancement, or you can say like, maybe after all we're not going to use it because it's a lot of work to implement, then that's fine as well. But yeah, if something is not baseline, you can use it, but you'll have to assess that yourself together with your team.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Well, I want to know which is your favorite from CSS Wrapped. Each of you have to tell me your favorite one.
Ivan, what's your favorite?
Well, I did say like in this CSS Wrapped 2024, that catch my eyes scroll different animations. That's one thing.
Okay.
From 2023, I learned it's. I haven't used that much, but I learned so much about the color level 4. The color that about like OKLCH, OKLab. I don't even know what it is before, and I just learned you can do it right now with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's confusing about this color mix. Haven't used it, to be honest, but I know that it is there right now, and learn so much about this color mix. But yeah,
And
Awesome.
also from 2023, like those new color spaces, display P3 color. That's like wow, so cool. Like I always
Wow.
thought that hot pink was a hot pink. Turns out there's a hotter hot pink out there. If you
Yep.
tap into those wider gamuts, it's like cool.
Yeah, yeah. For me,
how about you, Riza?
and
Yeah.
maybe Eka, absolutely, it's view transition because I now I can do like server render or traditional request response website to behave or to experience like single page application, right? So yeah, that's a win-win solution for me.
Are you using them on any of your projects right now?
Mm, Not yet, but I I try to use that in for the demo for speak or talk in some event. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
So
That's another one. I feel like view transitions is another one that's pretty easy to progressively enhance because you're
yeah.
like, all right, I'm gonna take the thing you clicked and I'm gonna put it over there with JavaScript. And you're like, cool, I put it over there with JavaScript and I'm done. Well, you're like, actually, if all I do is wrap this and say, if the browser can do a view transition, then
Yeah.
do it. If not, so I'm still putting the element over there no matter what. Just one of them gets wrapped in a function and one of them doesn't. And so if the browser has it, they see motion. If there isn't, it's just the same as it always was. Just like Bramus was talking about with like page navigation, the status quo is still there. We still swapped the elements. It's just in one scenario it had motion and the other one it didn't. So it's kind of fun to, again, progressively enhance if that's something you and your team are equipped and ready to do.
Yeah, I have planned to implement that in our video podcast website. So it's still server render, and when user click the episodes, they go to another page, and it should animate.
With
Yeah,
view transition.
it should transition. And for slide, because I love animation in my slide, so now I can do it with tools like slide.dev or any kind of website that have transition animation. Yeah.
Yeah, or use Morphle. Here, I'm sharing this. This is a Astro site that you can build. It's for making slides, and you don't have to name anything. It's got names for things already. And if you just go build your slides,
okay.
and then you click between your slides, it will morph your code snippets. It'll morph your titles. I think you can try it out there. It's smashingtransitions.netlify.app. Is that one still
Sure.
going? Oh, yeah. Wait, was that
Okay.
still running?
Yes.
Are they
No?
view transitions?
No, I don't think so.
Ooh, I must something old in
Because
there.
you have
I
resistance,
think you also
reduce
have to
motion.
make
No.
reduce motion, right? No.
This is motion, right?
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
I see
there
the
you go,
motion
there
now.
you go.
Yeah, that's the animation.
Ah, there you go.
Like
Okay,
between the
cool.
rocket and clapping and the
Yeah.
title.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
If I click, there is no transition. But if I push the
Use
arrow
keyboard.
button, keyboard, it's transition. Why is that? I don't know.
Fun bug.
Bug.
Another
It
bug.
might be like cache or
try.
something.
Yeah, maybe cache. Yeah, maybe cache. Ooh.
Because I think I have pre-render in there with like speculation rules and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm curious what's failing. Maybe I need to add that that check that looks for an element at the top. Yeah, because look, I'm prefetching the next page. I don't have the meta tag anymore, so I've definitely upgraded it since then. Do I have the at rule? Oh, the at rule's not at the top, maybe? Is that the deal?
Sorry?
At view transition.
The at rule gets hosted. That view transition navigation auto, that one gets hosted to the top.
Okay. Oh, because it's currently almost at the bottom of my style sheet. I wonder if that's why.
Oh, so
I
each page
think
of
there
this is
seems to be
one
some kind
page.
of race condition. I just tried it myself, and even when I click the arrow, sometimes it animates, sometimes it
Sometimes not.
doesn't.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
try
I think
a
it's
more.
some pre-render settings.
Here, try this version.
Fun new bugs to think about.
Let's see, is that one animating better? That one's animating a little bit better. It's still needs. It's like you have to wait. If you wait on the page before you hit the next page, it behaves better. It's almost like give it some time to pre-render. And when I'm talking on stage, it's a little better, right? Because I have the time
It's gonna
to give it.
take a while.
But yeah, there you go. You saw those
Everything to
morphs.
load.
So yeah, each of these slides is its own web page. You build them in Astro as individual slides, and then it does all the work with view transitions to make the animations morph. So that's free and open source if you all want to use it.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that you built there, Adam, is that like it automatically works. So it figures out what is the title on the previous slide, and then we're going to morph that one to the title on the next slide. And then if there's a code block, I'm going to morph the one code block to the other one. And it's like, yeah, and I think you've done it with some CSS
Is it
selector.
scroll
because it
snap
cracked.
events between one code block and the other?
That one's scroll state queries.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's how it knows which one is snapped. Yep, and that's also progressive enhancement. So if you're on a browser that doesn't have those, it just doesn't do the little focus thing.
Okay.
But yeah, Bramus is mentioning I used the nth of syntax to get that one done, so that I could select the unique H1, and then if there's multiple code snippets, I make sure I grab just 2 or 3 of them, and yeah, the nth of syntax was clutch for that.
Okay.
Yeah, view transitions, very cool. But yeah, that one's all CSS view transitions, no JavaScript on that either.
Yeah. It's very cool. How you navigate this like horizontal scrolling when you present?
Scroll snap events. Oh, when presenting.
No. I mean,
No,
like,
when presenting.
next. Click next
Between slides, between pages.
between the code snippet like this.
So you're asking how do I
Oh.
navigate between them while I'm presenting?
Yeah.
Yeah, just with
While standing on stage.
Oh, I'll stand in front of the computer. Yeah, I'm usually in front because those little
Yeah,
red dots that are on there too. Those are all demos.
Hmm.
So if you hover over a red dot, I would open those in a tab,
I see.
and then I would
Okay.
go through the demo on stage and open up DevTools or something.
Yeah, this is the slide and the demo, both of them. Yeah,
Yep.
got it. Very cool. Maybe I can steal this.
Yeah,
For
I want
my
you to. That's why I'm like,
use.
hey, steal it. This is really. I find it to be a very quick way to make really nice looking slides.
Yeah.
But it does seem like I'll have to backport some of my enhancements from my talk in France a few months ago. I made a few changes, and they could be upstreamed into the open source.
Yeah, I'm curious why you guys choose Astro for the CSS Wrapped website. Any particular reason?
We that page would have been really long HTML file to edit if it was just one file, and so it was nice to break
Okay.
things into components. And then we ended up powering a lot of it with a loop, right? So we had an outer loop that goes through each of the biomes, and then we went in an inner loop which rendered all the different features, and we had components that could just handle those things. So we built it a lot like you would in a traditional component architecture, but Astro, of course, outputs a static site, so we were able to work on smaller pieces but still build a very long document. And then we get scoping with some of our styles. We had a little bit of TypeScript in there so that we could make sure that we were healthily passing parameters down to child components and stuff like that. So that's why we chose it. I think we've chosen it 3 years in a row, but yeah.
Yeah, one of the main things that I really like is like we have this one big JSON object sitting at the root, which is like, these are the biomes, these are the features in there, and then this is the title for that feature in the description. But then we can easily, by just manipulating the arrays in there, we can like reshuffle whole pieces of content instead of needing to move bits of markup around and whatnot. So that was really nice to work with. And also we output a bunch of stuff in components, which is an Astro component, which is also easy because you change it once and it updates everywhere. Component-based approach, right?
Oh.
And in general, I like working with it as well.
Regular Astro component.
Yeah.
No UI framework
Regular.
like React, Svelte, whatever.
No, it uses open props for some nice CSS tokens, but no frameworks. Yeah.
No frameworks.
So it's .astro like markup, HTML markup inside .astro files.
Yep, pretty much the single file Astro component, and some of them take props and some of them don't. Yep.
And if you want to take a look, the source code is online. So if you go to either Google to our repo directly, or if you went to the bottom of CSS Wrapped 2024 and then you hit the link, source available on GitHub. There you have it. Then you end up in the repo, and then you can see how we built it.
Yeah, go to
And
pages
also
and
for
find
the-
that like main page.
And for the CSS, no post CSS, no SAS, no.
I think in data in the data folder, like here we import all the components, and then here we have the setup for all the biomes with all the features in there. So it's really cool. Like if we can just change the order of the array, and then the content will reorder on the website, and that is tied to the navigation, which is built based on these arrays and the content itself, and then the scrolls by. So yeah.
Ooh, stop there at line 90 or line 100 though. Go up a little bit. You can see some of the secret sauce. Okay, line 100. See VT Slugify biome title. You were talking earlier about how do the different sections get connected to the little snake that's on the sidebar.
Yeah,
and that's it right there. So those timelines for each biome, we make a unique name for the section it's in.
So it's a view timeline name, like unique name indicator.
Yep, and that way something else can observe that particular unique timeline's position on the page and animate it. And so that helps us with Astro, because normally someone might do this in a JavaScript template, and we did it in the Astro template, and we're just kind of decorating using the slugs. So the slugs are already unique, so we can use the slug with a little prefix and get ourselves some unique names that way. Although Bramus, I guess scroll timelines aren't going to get automated naming, but view transitions will eventually, and that'll be cool.
Yeah, view transitions will have something soon-ish. Well, Safari already has part of it, and where you can like automatically generate a view transition name for the element based on the identity of the element. But for scroll timelines, that's not the case yet. But you can use the new adder function, which shipped in Chrome 133 last week, which is really cool, because then you can take an attribute from your markup, and then you can parse that into something like a color or a string, which is already was the case by default. But you can also parse it into a custom ident, which you can then use with scroll-driven animations, anchor positioning, and so on. So yeah, that's really, really cool, because now we can close the gap between the markup and the CSS. Because typically when you output this kind of stuff in a loop, like we did in our code right there, we output IDs or some data attributes, and now we had to duplicate a lot of that work to also output some CSS custom properties or some CSS values. And with Adder, you close that gap. Adder is not part of CSS Wrapped 2024, but it will be part of CSS Wrapped 2025.
It'll be in 2025. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the teaser for 2025.
Oh, we're already acquiring. Yeah, did you see in Chrome 133 all sorts of goodies dropped? Chrome 134.
Oh, that's an amazing release.
Yeah, 2025 is going to have a very big CSS Wrapped as well. It's cool.
So if we talk about 2025, I'm just wondering, is Houdini is part of them?
Houdini?
I mean, Houdini lives on in the app property, but I don't know if we're going to get worklets back. What do you think, Bramus?
Yeah, I think Houdini did a lot of research and experimentation and opened up the way to certain things. And like for example, scroll-driven animations. Like there's a connection with Houdini. The work that was done there, like, paved the way forward.
Oh,
Yeah, and here's another demo, by the way.
nice.
So yeah, I think Houdini. We should forget that one. But it sparked a lot of ideas and opened up a lot of ways for newer
Okay.
features that are coming.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Houdini, to pave the way for better.
Yes,
For the better web.
sometimes you need to go in a certain direction, and then at the end find like, okay, there is no consensus on this, or we hit a dead end, or whatever that happens. But the journey that took you there still gives you a lot of learnings, which you can then take for use in your next project. So yeah,
Yeah.
a failure is also a win.
Totally.
Yes.
I mean, that's what senior dev is, right? After you've been a developer long enough, you're like, I've just failed more times than you. That's why I'm faster. I've already tripped on this, so I know to step over it. You don't know that yet, so you're just going to trip on it. It's okay. You'll get to where I'm in.
Okay. Okay, we already talk about one CSS feature in for CSS Wrapped next year or this year, and do you have any suggestion for our audience who doesn't want to learn CSS or like me, bad at CSS? What suggestion do you have?
So you're currently bad at CSS and you want to be better. And you're looking for
Yeah.
tips.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it's go find stuff that you like and that you find is beautiful or has some sort of feature in it that you're interested in knowing how it works, and go recreate it. You can kind of do like what Kevin Powell does, where he'll try to recreate it without looking at the code, and then compare the solutions and see, how did they do it? How did I do it? And so that could always be good, because then you're kind of chasing fun. You can also just build fun, silly things that, but do continue to try to stretch your skills into new CSS properties if that's your goal. So I would learn by building stuff, but that's kind of how I've always learned anyway. I'm a very hands-on learner.
Yeah, same here. I have to get my hands dirty with the code. Like sometimes when I read an article, I'm like, but what does this actually mean? Or like with scroll-driven animations as well. Like you have this whole theoretical explanation about these are the view timeline ranges that you can use. You have cover and contain, and I was like, I think I understand, but I'm a visual person. I need to see it. So I built a view timeline range visualizer that shows you all the ranges.
So good.
And that then like allowed me to make it click in my mind. I was like, okay, this is so cool. This helped me. So now I'm just going to publish it so that other people as well can play with it. You can find on scroll-driven animations.style. Maybe I should look up the link, which I'm doing now. And I'm dropping it in the chat. How fast can you copy paste?
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Nice. Another thing, I also have like a similar line. Like, in my line of work, I don't really use CSS a lot, but now I have to learn CSS because my line of work is to improve the page performance. So I would like to kill all those JavaScript. I would like to get rid of all those JavaScript. So I have to learn this CSS, but just for the part to remove those JavaScript. And yeah, I love it so far.
I think that's a very good starting point where like, okay, we currently have this situation. I know we should get rid of a bunch of JavaScript, and that's like a spark for you to dig into the topic. And then as you try and like try to figure it out, you'll hit some walls, you'll fail, but thankfully you can like search for a lot of things nowadays right on the internet. If you're stuck with something, like I'm very good at searching for the error message. Like if something doesn't work, I just like make up a query, search for it, get my answer, and then open up a few tabs, a few demos. Like, oh, that's how they did it. And also along with that, DevTools nowadays is so powerful. Like back in the day, you had your altered CSS, and then the stuff that came out like maybe was changed through JavaScript or whatever, and like now with DevTools you can just like inspect the element, see the properties, change some of the values there, and then like live update in the document. And it's so cool.
Yep. So from just this talk, I already have one topic for my next IO extended.
Oh.
Like seriously, because right now I have this project that I'm currently maintaining, that it has this in-page navigation, the same like the you have in CSS Wrapped 2024. The in-page navigations is now using the intersection observer, and it's very hard to maintain because there are too many possibility inside the element in the DOM. This intersection observer just sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. If the user scroll too fast, it doesn't catch really well. It doesn't get triggered, and the in-page navigation shows wrong active element. So I just want to try with this new thing with this just only with CSS and scroll animation and see how it works. If I can remove those intersection observer, JavaScript, all the stuff, and just go to the CSS, I save probably, I don't know, maybe 50 kilobytes per request, maybe.
And also you free up your main thread while the user is visiting, so it's like cool, right?
Yeah.
If you do want to get started, or if people out here want to get started with scroll-driven animations, you should visit scroll-driven-animations.style, and on there you will find a bunch of demos, a bunch of tools, and even a debugger extension.
Yay.
Yeah, so if you adjust the URL here to just scroll-driven-animations.style, then you will get to the home page, or if you hit the little home icon there as well.
Perfect.
If you hit home here, like here you will see small introduction.
That's also the scroll triggered animation of the mouse icon.
And then you have a bunch of demos. Every demo has this little info icon in the bottom right. And then if you scroll down, you will find a link to a video course. More down.
This one?
Yeah, and this is like 10 episodes where I teach you all there is to know about scroll-driven animations. So hopefully, if I did my job well, if you just watch these 10, you should know all about it.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So, I wonder, is it a good idea for like, thanks to the CSS Wrapped 2023 and 2024, because of your work, we now know what CSS feature
can do
that we can use for our project. And I wonder, is there any should we translate the website, so like people from Indonesia sometimes they're having troubles with English, right? So is there any multilingual feature for the website?
Yeah, like a Chrome developer blog or something. Web.dev, I think, used to have a translation localization feature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think web.dev and developer.chrome.com, they are powered by this thing that we call DevSite internally, which is like powers all the documentation websites. And on there we have like automated translations for a bunch of languages. Like I think it all translates to French, to German, to Chinese. Like I'm not sure. I should look up the list of languages. But if you want to specifically like translate CSS Wrapped, you can do that, right? The source code is there online. Feel free to fork it. Maybe add a little language dropper on there, and we're very happy to accept PRs.
Ooh, nice.
It would be a great addition.
That would be our next
especially
project.
if you say that your audience sometimes struggles with English. Then definitely go ahead.
Okay,
Cool. Perfect then. Yay.
Okay, maybe we can wrap it up for this episode. Yeah, we can wrap.
So are you going to
I
rap
think
about
you-
wrapping up Wrapped?
Yeah.
Do you have any rap?
So meta.
any your like what do you call these are like pesan for
Any last message
not
for
last-
our audience
yeah, do you have any
before we go?
No, I mean, let us know it's still difficult. Take those surveys, and there you have more power than you think you do. Like if recently there was a conversation about border radius and getting the ability to be a squircle, like yeah, so it's like a squared circle. It's not quite a rounded.
Squircle.
Yes, it's squircle, and someone proposed it at the CSS Working Group. They called it Super Lips, and they had like a demo, and it's an idea that they've been floating around. Anyway, people online got really, really excited across all the social networks and started writing about it and demoing it and forking the stuff. And so that engineer that proposed it, who thought he wasn't going to work on it this year, went home that weekend or whatever and was like, everybody loves it. I'm going to go spend more time on it. So your votes, your interest, your comments can directly affect what people work on. So just know that you have power and we're listening. So
perfect.
Yeah, big plus one on that. If you find something is lacking on the web platform, if you find something is difficult to do, reach out. If you find bugs, please file a bug. Not only in Chrome, but like in other browsers as well. Like I regularly file bugs, also not only with Chrome, but also with other browser vendors to say like, okay, I noticed this thing, it's not working correctly. Maybe we should try and fix it. So yeah, like Adam said, you have more power than you think.
Cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
I wonder where people can file a bug, for example, for Chrome or for CSS.
If you find a bug in Chrome, you go to crbug.com.
CRBug. Okay.
That's crbug.com. And I think the better URL crbug.com /new. Yeah. And there you can you can file a bug. What is really helpful is that if you have a test case, like a reproduction, like a Slimtown reproduction, that's very helpful because then our engineers can don't have to dissect like a whole bunch of unrelated code. So yeah, here you can report an issue with Chromium. You say which browser which version you were using, what you have problems with, describe how to reproduce, maybe file a link to the repro, and yeah, that's really good. Then the bug goes into triage, the correct team gets pinged, and then hopefully it gets assigned over time, and somebody will fix it.
Nice. Okay. So if our audience want to connect with you, where do they go? Go to nerdy.dev and bram.us.
yeah, I got RSS there. You can find me on Blue Sky or Twitter or Mastodon. But the RSS sometimes has secret posts that don't make it into a social network. So if you want, check out RSS.
Another
Easter
Easter egg.
Nice. That's an interesting incentive, like to make personal websites, all the vibes again.
How many people still use RSS?
I do.
I still use
Yeah.
RSS.
I do.
I still use RSS too. Yeah, it's my favorite way to read. Yep.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
what I really like about RSS is that I get to decide when I read the news instead of the news being like pushed in my face, going like, here's new post,
Yeah.
here's new post. I can decide.
Chronological order. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. Like that's all I want.
Exactly.
What RSS client do you use right now?
I use Feedly. Feedly.com.
Feedly.
Yeah, Feedly.
Yeah.
I still use
Feedly's
Feedly.
great.
FEEDLY.
FEED.
Yeah.
And before that, I used to use Google Reader, but
Yeah, rest in peace, Google
I got
Reader.
hacked.
Why?
Yep. Maybe we'll remake it one day. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Nerdy.dev
Palabrado.
Feedly.
Okay.
Or nerdily. Probably. Maybe.
Nerdily. Or just a feed
All right,
nerd.
then.
It's a nerd feed.
Nerd feed. All right. Maybe yeah, that's it for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Bramus
much
and Adam
for
for
Thank you
coming.
so
coming.
much.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you
Yeah.
for inviting us. I really like these informal type of talks where we just talk about nerdy stuff. It's like I like this.
See, that's it. That's actually the spirit of this talk. It's just like, yeah, we just talk about it, and sometimes
Yeah.
We just geek
when
out
we
about
meet,
web stuff.
yeah, we love it.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can invite one of you, or two of you, or all of you the next year when the CSS Wrapped 2025 come.
Cool. Give us a
Thanks
ping.
once again.
Make it a
Yeah,
yearly
thanks
thing.
for your time. Maybe we can meet one
Again.
day. You guys going to Beijing?
China
Maybe
this time?
we can meet in Beijing.
We don't
Yeah.
know yet. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Okay. So that's it for today. Terima kasih. Thank you for all of you who watching our casual talk. See you next time. Bye bye.
Ciao.